Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable my supervisors, Dr. Andes Ahmad Talib, MPD, and Samtidar, SPD, MID, TESO, IBD, and my examiners, Munir, SPD, MID, TESO, and Fitri Radiani, SPD, MPD. Okay, first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Ulhusnah from English Education Department 2018. In this lately morning, I would like to say thank you for the opportunity that has been given to me to present my thesis entitled English as a Foreign Language E-Level Students Problems in Listening English Story via YouTube. This presentation includes research background, research questions, main concepts, conceptual framework, research method, findings and discussions, and the last, conclusions and suggestions. First, background. Listening is one of the important skills in English because through listening, people are able to receive the comprehensible language input. Listening is very crucial in mastering English because listening is a basic skill to learn a foreign language. People know the words by listening to it. Listening is considered as a problematic English skill. The problems when listening English are caused by some factors. As the statement above, there is some factors cause the listening problems. This is in line with Graham 2006 state the factors are limited vocabulary, bad grammar, and misinterpretations of the listening task. Learning listening skill can be done by listening English stories via the internet by utilizing one of the online applications, namely YouTube. The utilization of YouTube, considered as the most popular learning-based videos, as stated by Liu 2010, YouTube is the popular online learning application and often used in today's digital era. Okay, next, research question. There are two research questions. The first, what are the most frequent problems faced by the students in listening English story via YouTube application? And what do the students do in solving their problems in listening English story via YouTube application? So those research questions will be answered in findings and discussions and conclude in the conclusions. Next part is main concepts. The first, problems. The problem can be interpreted as a gap between expectation and reality that is not desired by everyone. Notat Model 2003. The second, listening. Listening is one of the important competencies of language skills, which can be a source for people to get certain information. Apianta 2019. In conclusion, listening is a complex process for understanding the topics by the speaker. Next, English story. A story is a series of events told through words, images, body language, performance, music, etc. Stories can be anything, including fiction and non-fiction, with a particular topic, genre, or style. And the last, YouTube. YouTube is a video content that is popular on social media in providing various information. Videos on YouTube consist of various types of genres, like personal vlogs, entertainment, educational videos, etc. Next, conceptual framework. So in this research, the researcher chose the English Education Student 2018 at State University of Makassar as participant. The researcher shares the questionnaire to students which help listening the English story via YouTube to find out the students' most frequent problems in listening English and interviewed the students to get their solutions. Next, research method. The study used mixed methods to achieve the research question. Mixed methods employ aspects of both quantitative methods and qualitative procedures. And the participants are the English Education Students 2018 at State University of Makassar. And to collecting the data, the researcher used questionnaire and interview. And to analyze the data from questionnaire, the researcher used formula of frequency, percentage, and mean score, and used Miles and Haberman's method, namely data reduction, data display, and data verification for interview analysis. Well, now we move to the findings and discussions. After analyzing the data, the researcher found 5 most frequent problems in listening English story on YouTube, and 2 ways in solving each problem. The 5 most frequent problems are lack of vocabulary, noisy atmosphere, lack of knowledge about the topic, native speaker speaks a bit fast, and lack of grammar. The solutions are take a note and practice listening through audio and video, looking for a comfortable place and try to focus and concentrate, looking for the information of the topic and try to understand the topic, repeat the audio or video and use the subtitle feature, and learn a lot and read a book. Next, the description of the findings. The first problem is lack of vocabulary. This is supported by the students' choices in the action questionnaire. The table above presents the findings of lack of vocabularies as the most frequent problem in listening English story, with the highest percentage score with mean value 3.93. Based on the result above, these factors have 83% of respondents who choose agree and strongly agree, whereas only 10% answered disagree and also 10% answered moderate. The second problem is noisy atmosphere. This is supported by the students' choices in the atom questionnaire. The table above presents the findings of noisy atmosphere as the most frequent problem in listening English story, with the second highest percentage score with mean value 3.82. Based on the result above, this factor have 65% of respondents who choose agree and strongly agree, whereas only 8% answered disagree and 18% answered moderate. The third problem is lack of knowledge about the topic. This is supported by the students' choices in the atom questionnaire. The table above presents the findings of lack of knowledge about the topic as the most frequent problem in listening English story, with the third highest percentage score with mean value 3.80. Based on the result above, this factor have 58% of respondents who choose agree and strongly agree, whereas only 8% answered disagree and 33% answered moderate. The next problem is the native speaker speaks a bit fast. This is supported by the students' choices in the atom questionnaire. The table above presents the findings of the speaker speaks a bit fast as the most frequent problem in listening English story with the high percentage score with mean value 3.65. Based on the result above, this factor have 67% of respondents who choose agree and strongly agree, whereas only 8% answered disagree and 25% answered moderate. The last problem is lack of grammar. This is supported by the students' choices in the atom questionnaire. The table above presents the findings of lack of grammar as the most frequent problem in listening English story, with the second high percentage score with mean value 3.63. Based on the result above, this factor have 68% of respondents who choose agree and strongly agree, whereas only 13% answered disagree and 18% answered moderate. The students wise in solving their problems. The first, lack of vocabulary. The students solve this problem using two ways. The first, take a note. The solution is about how they solve the problem by using notes. The notes they make contain vocabularies that they write on paper or books when they are able to catch the words spoken by the speaker, but at the same time they are not able to interpret the meaning and the pronunciation of the vocabularies. This is supported by the students as well. I read or make notes for vocabulary that I don't know, and then I read or listen to it repeatedly until I memorize the vocabulary. And the second, practice listening through audio and video. In this solution, the students increase the practice of listening to audio and video in English. By doing more listening practice, they knew more vocabulary that they don't know, and they will get used to the pronunciation of English words. This is supported by the students' answer. I will watch English videos tutorials, and also I will download various audios and listen to them repeatedly to enrich my vocabulary knowledge. Well, the second problem is noisy environment. The students solve this problem using two ways. First, looking for a comfortable place. Comfortable place includes a noisy room or study environment that doesn't support listening activities. For this reason, the students look for a quiet place away from noise that can interfere with their listening activities. This is supported by the students answer. I will find a place that is comfortable and away from the noise and supports to listening English. And the second is try to focus and concentrate. If the students have no other choice, some of them choose to focus and try to concentrate on what they are listening to, so that their hearing is not distracted by anything. This is supported by students answer. I'm just trying to adjust the listening activity and try to focus on what I'm listening to and ignore the noise around me. And the third problem is lack of knowledge about the topic. The students solve this problem using two ways. The first, looking for the information of the topic. In this way, the students use Google or other browsers to find out the information about the topic. Which being discussed either before or during the learning activity. Thus, they have a basic knowledge of the topic and made it easier for them to interpret the meaning of the topic. This is supported by students' answer. Before I listen to the topic, I will find out first what the topic is about so that I have a real knowledge or an overview of the topic. And the second, try to understand the topic. Another solution presented by the students was they tried to understand the story in two ways, namely listening to the story repeatedly until they grasped the meaning of the story and listening to the story carefully until they knew the main idea of the topic. This is supported by the students' answer. I will listen to the topic and try to understand and grasp the meaning of the topic. And the third is native speaker speaks a bit fast. The students solved this problem using two ways. The first, repeat the audio or video. The speed of speaking by native speakers is undeniable. This can also be influenced because the listener is not used to fast speak. To overcome this problem, students choose to repeat the audio or video they are listening to until they can catch what the speaker is saying. This is supported by the students' answer. I will repeat the video until I can catch the meaning of the words spoken by the speaker. And the second is use the subtitle feature. One of the simplest ways to overcome the speed of speaking by native speakers who are listened to through videos on YouTube is to take advantage of the subtitle feature, so students can easily understand the speaker's speech. This is supported by the student answer. I usually look at the subtitles so I can find out what the speaker is saying. And the last problem is lack of grammar. The students solve this problem using two ways. The first, learn a lot. One of the most powerful solutions to overcome this problem is to increase the quality and quantity of learning. This applies to every area of learning. Most students say that by studying often, our knowledge of something will increase, as well as in terms of lack of knowledge of grammar. This is supported by students' answer. I will learn a lot of grammar and continuously learn it and often practice using correct grammar according to the context. In a sense, practice makes perfect. And the last is read a book. The reason for studying grammar by reading books is that almost all published English books are written in a well-structured grammar and in accordance with the correct grammar writing rules. This is supported by the students' answer. I read a lot of novels and short stories in English because the books contain English sentences with correct grammar writing, so I think reading English novels or stories will increase my grammar knowledge. Now we move to the discussions. Based on the research, the researchers said 5 most frequent problems in listening English stories via YouTube, which is in line with Chen 2005 statements. Problems or difficulties in listening English topics are due to the speed of the speaker cannot be controlled, unable to repeat something, or pronunciation, lack of vocabulary knowledge and grammar, not knowing the signal, intonation and accent, interpretation problems, and unfamiliar topic, not concentrating on what is heard, place, and condition, and established learning habits. And each of them have two solutions, which in line with Nation and Nation 2009 statements. The listening skill problems could be improved by reading, practice, and language-focused learning of text, pronunciation, spelling, and vocabulary in the supportive environment. The first, lack of vocabulary. The studying solutions are take a note and practice listening through audio and video. The second, noisy atmosphere. The studying solutions are looking for a comfortable place and try to focus and concentrate. And the third, lack of knowledge about the topic. The studying solutions are looking for the information of the topic and try to understand the topic. And the fourth, the native speaker speaks a bit fast. The studying solution are repeat the audio or video and use the subtitle feature. And the last, lack of grammar. The studying solutions are learn a lot and read a book. The last is conclusions and suggestions. The conclusions of this research are two. First, there are 5 most frequent problems students faced when listening English story, including lack of vocabulary with 3.93 mean value and percentage of 83%, noisy atmosphere with 3.82 mean value and percentage of 65%, lack of knowledge about the topic with 3.80 mean value and percentage of 58%, The native speaker speaks a bit fast with 3.65 mean value and percentage of 67%, and lack of grammar with 3.63 mean value and percentage of 68%. Second, students wise in solving their problems. Related to lack of vocabulary, the students take a note and practice listening to audio and video. Related to noisy atmosphere, the students looking for a comfortable place and try to focus and concentrate. Related to lack of knowledge about the topic, the students looking for the information of the topic and try to understand the topic. Related to the native speaker speaks a bit fast, the students repeat the audio or video and use the subtitle feature. And the last, related to lack of grammar, the students learn a lot and read a book. As follows, for English education students, this research can be used as knowledge to introduce some factors that cause the listening problems and ways to solve those problems. For other researchers who has the similar topic and want to make a collaboration, they may be able to investigate the specific factors that influence the emergence of problems in listening English from various aspects of the field of learning English listening. Well, I think that's all for my presentation. I'm sorry if there is a mistake. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.